Stop. I'm like, what are you gonna say? I'm so nervous.
No, it's fine. Like, I hope we don't get arrested for this because, oh my God,
Oh, that was so bad.
that's like the 7-year limit, right? Like after 7 years,
It doesn't,
after
yeah.
7 years, all your
Misdemeanors
sins go
don't
away.
count.
So
Yeah.
like,
Like, I think we were not expecting any of this. And I also think that we progressively got closer and worse
that's exactly
into our
what I was gonna say.
ideas.
I don't think that we were expecting to go and do what we did. Do you remember when we decided we wanted to do a podcast?
Well, I was watching Charlotte Dubray. I hope that's how you say her name. I remember she was doing a segment on Bridezilla and an Aida one. And I sent it to you and I said, we should start a podcast. And you were like, yeah. It's almost like you followed up the next 2 days and then
It
I
just never
followed up
stopped.
after that. And then it kind of snowballed. And then
Yeah,
remember
it
when
never
we
stopped.
started involving other people, actually paying for this, actually paying for that. And I think it both finally hit us that we were like, whoa.
And I think the craziest part of this, and we'll talk about this in another podcast, or another segment, but I know like we had gone through a whole period of not talking to each other. We had gone to, what was it? I think 7 years of, and it was dry, like we didn't talk to each
Right.
other at all, but it wasn't our whole upbringing. It wasn't like what we were used to in
Yeah.
terms of
Every day. I
conversation.
mean, we lived together. Like,
We lived together, yeah, like you were my person, but I mean, you've always been my person. But it was just very, very, very different. So it was going from 7 years of not talking to each other, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
bam, we're talking again and we're doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, I think that's one of the things that always keeps me going. I'm super motivated. I'm super happy and I get super excited to do it because it's like, this is real. Like, we want this.
Yeah.
We're gonna go out and chase it. And even though I always wanted to do a podcast too. I always felt I was always waiting, even if I didn't know it at the time. I think that like you were always the person that I wanted to do it with. Like, I'm really happy to be doing this, and I I love the name Hither and Tither. And I think a lot of people probably
Question.
question. They're like, how do you say this? Hit her, tit her, um, hither and tither. Um, but I love the meaning behind of our name.
I know, because you really are my theater.
Yeah. And so, for context about where our name came from, hither and thither comes from the Bible, and it means here and there. And so we thought it was super relevant because we're here and there. We're
Yeah.
here and there. You're in Tennessee, yeah, and I'm in Texas, so we're in two completely different places. And it comes from the nickname that we gave to each other.
Yeah. And we just thought it was so perfect. Like when we were talking about a name, I said Hither and Thither because we did want to keep God in our podcast, right? That is us to the core. Like we love to keep God in our projects. We love to keep him in every step of the way. So we thought that was a great way of bringing God into the whole podcast and then still it being relevant to us, which like theater, we've been doing that for so long. Like we've been calling each other theater for so long. My brother started calling us the theaters, and like your sister, like we started calling her
My sister
theater.
became a theater.
Yeah, like
And now all of you guys are
and
theaters.
now all of you
Yay!
guys can be theaters. I don't exactly know when it started, but I know it did start in our youth.
And honestly, like, I don't even think I know how many years it's been since we've been calling each other that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But we do, I am super excited to do the podcast and to have a name that really is just so relevant to us. And so when we refer to like our listeners, we call them theaters because there are, they're sisters. There are, in even if, we said our male listeners are our theteros.
Theteros, yeah.
Theteros.
And that's just what we wanted this podcast to be, right? Like we just want it to be a family group chat. Like we want you to be a part of our lives. We want to be a part of your lives, or we can just laugh together. We just wanted to be a podcast about anything you would talk to your best friend about, which is unlimited, right? That's just what we want
Even
this
leaders.
podcast to be. Anywhere. Yeah, exactly. We can all just be theaters and we can give you advice. You can give us advice.
We can
Um,
laugh about
we
things.
can laugh. Yeah, we can cry.
We can cry.
Um, we will be vulnerable with you. You can be vulnerable with us. Like,
Yeah, and I think most importantly, like something that I've learned in my life as well, is that we say sometimes I don't like talking about things because when I do talk about them, they become real. But the
mhm,
reality is that if it's happening, it is real, and it's
yeah,
important to talk about it. And I think that this is exactly what we want our podcast to be about. We want to talk about real things. We want to talk about things that make us happy, things that make us
cheese
sad.
man.
And chismecito,
Yeah.
bring it because we always love the chismecito. Um, but yeah, just a place where you can feel, where you can laugh, a place where you can feel safe, a place where you can feel like you belong. Because that's something that I've struggled with quite a bit as I've grown up, feeling inadequate or feeling like I don't belong. But I have always felt like I belong with my teacher. And I want other people to be able to have that feeling as well, that
Yeah.
they have a person, they have somebody that they can talk to.
Well, and I have been told before that what you and I have, like what Emily and I have, is very unique. So I want others to experience that as well. Like I want others to find a friendship in us that is unique. And
Mhm.
I feel like because it's so unique in us, that is something that we can share with our theaters. Um, and that's something that you cannot find just anywhere else, right? Like you can
Mhm.
find this in genuinity and in life lessons and experience and vulnerability. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, so as we're going through this experience, I, theaters, please don't think that this is about yo or myself. This is about us. This is
Hmm.
about us having fun, and this is about us having the opportunity to know each other. So we want we want you guys to be involved, and we want for you to reach out and comment and let us know what you're thinking. And if you feel like, you know, we should be talking more about certain things, let us know. And
Hmm.
if you feel like you should be talking we should be talking less about certain things, then let us know because that's what we're here for. And as far as I know, nobody is going backwards, right? Everybody is moving forward, everybody is growing. And as we're growing, we're learning. And today I may say one thing, and tomorrow I will,
Hmm.
you know, learn and go through an experience that is going to change me. So I think that that's the best part about this podcast, that we'll all grow together and we'll talk about things that matter and things that are going to make us better
Yeah, I
while
agree.
also having fun.
Yeah, while laughing our little booties off.
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite thing to do. I
Yeah.
can learn and I can do all these things, but if there wasn't a laugh along the way, I don't want it.
So, because we want to be vulnerable and we want to be real and we just want to share who we are, I was thinking, that one thing that we could do is tell our teachers something crazy that we remember about
My
each other.
gosh. Okay.
I know I'm kind of
Um,
putting you on the spot, so I hope that you can think of something,
something
but
crazy.
something crazy that we
Um,
remember about each other.
well, honestly, like I think the most crazy things that you did were mostly because you were going along with me. Um, unfortunately, but I think probably the craziest thing you did was because of me. And it was this one time, it was this guy that I liked.
Mhm.
And he lived close by.
Okay.
And
I'm like, my brain is like twisting and turning. Like, do I
he
remember
lived
this?
close by and we went to go stalk him. Like we went and
Oh my gosh, I do remember that.
we parked my car like 2 blocks away and then walked to his house. And then we were hiding behind cars and we were like trying, because we were trying to figure out, because he kind of went MIA. And we were like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, we used to hang out with him all the time. Blah, blah, blah. So we wanted to know what was happening. Anyway, so we went to his house and we were trying to figure out if someone would come in or come out or whatever. Anyway, we actually did find out that like later in a couple months, we found out that he ended up getting married. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. But okay, the funniest part about this is that like the memory that I have, like, oh my gosh, so ingrained as my brain is us.
Stop. I'm like, what are you gonna say? I'm so nervous.
No, 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 it's fine. I just remember that we went like hiding behind these bushes. Like, I hope we don't get arrested for this because oh my God.
Oh, that was so bad.
It was a long time ago. I think it's like, what is it, like 7 years? Like
It was
it's been
no
more than
more than
7
that,
years.
girl. I've
It's
been
been
living
more
here
than
for
seven
seven
years since
years.
we did that. And there's like, that's like the 7 year limit, right? Like after 7 years,
It doesn't,
after
yeah.
7 years, all your sins
Misdemeanors don't
go away.
count. Yeah.
So like, we're moving on past that. But I do like what I have ingrained is that we managed to get to this window,
Stop. I remember
and
that.
we managed to get to this window and we were looking like you could barely see, and there was two people and they were watching TV, and then they started making out, and we were like, because at this point it was like we weren't even looking to see what the other guy was doing.
No.
Now we were flat out just watching somebody else like
We were like,
have
oh my
their moment.
gosh, like,
But it wasn't that we were like trying to watch. It was that we were trying to figure out
no,
whether or
we were
not it
trying to
was
figure
that
out what the
guy.
other guy was, and then this was happening, and we were like, oh my gosh. And then we
Like,
kind of just like ran. I
and so it
remember
just
that.
like made things even worse because it's like when you're with your friend, like it's funny and like you're hanging out and
Yeah.
like it's just like a crazy moment and your heart is beating so fast and you're just like anything could happen. But then when you actually see somebody else,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
to do.
Well, and I think we just were being dumb. Like we didn't actually expect to find anything. Like I think so, like, and we still didn't find out anything until later, like 2 months later. Like I think we were not expecting any of this. And I also think that we progressively got closer and
That's
worse into
exactly what
our
I was going to say.
ideas.
I don't think that we were expecting to go and do what we did. I think we were
Yes.
just like, let's just drive around. And then
Yes,
we
let's
just
go pass by
happened to
his
get closer
house.
and
Yeah.
close. And then now we're hiding behind a bush. Like,
Yeah.
it was something that we were definitely not expecting to happen,
Yeah.
but definitely a memory that I will never forget and something
I
that I
know
will
that
never
was
share.
way funny. Way funny.
That is pretty crazy though, because now that I think about it, now as a full grown adult, like one, if I knew of somebody doing that, I would be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you did that. Um,
Yeah. And
but
like
also
this is a
like
guy that I like. Like I just wanted to know, but like if I ever found out that a guy that I liked did that, I'd be like, biggest red flag. This is why I stopped talking
biggest
to
red
you. Like
flag, block him, like
yeah, and
absolutely
to
not.
move houses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count for both of our stories or do you have a story?
Hmm. Well, like I was just remembering that there was actually somebody who did stalk you.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. He
But that's a
was
story for another day.
That's
That's a
another
story
story
for
for
another
another
day.
day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it does count for the both of us, but I also remembered something crazy that you did, and I kind of want to put you on blast.
Oh my gosh. Dude, anything I do is crazy. TBH.
Yeah. You'll get to know this, and um, if you've ever met or like if you've ever like been watching a movie, you see like the charming and the dreamy eyes, which to be honest, like that's not at all my type.
Yeah.
For me, it's like give me like, I don't know, like Raul Alejandro, like oh my gosh, like somebody like that, right? Like that's like when I imagine of like a really like
Yeah.
wow dreamy guy, I'm like Raul, like that's
Girl to work while saying it's
no, I love that guy. Um, if you're listening, Rao,
at,
I'm married, but
but hear me out.
hi. Um, but anyway, yeah, if you've ever like watched a movie like that with that person who just really can like do anything and get away with anything because of how charming that is you. Okay? Hello is correct. That is my girl right here across the street. Um, And so there was this one time, and oh gosh, we must have literally been like 19 years old. So we were really young. And I
That
was
is my
working.
that is like my breakup phase, 19.
Well, maybe this is why you did this crazy thing. And you probably don't even know what I'm about to say, but I do. This is also one of those memories that I will never forget because my jaw literally dropped. Okay. That does not happen very many times, but my jaw dropped. And so I was at work. And I used to work at a baseball stadium. And so I was at work, and I think you and I were going to have a sleepover because we just did crazy things like that. Those sleepovers were just like endless.
Yeah,
We just
honestly.
ended up just living together. But yeah, you came and you picked me up from work, and for some reason, like one of my coworkers was with me, and this was a male coworker. And I like to be honest, like I don't even remember his name. Okay. And so
I
we
do.
like you know what I'm talking about? Oh my God. Okay. So I get on the passenger seat, and literally I cannot even remember why this guy just comes through the window, and like he has his arm, and like he was on the driver's seat, right? So he's like having a conversation with us. Like he's like right there with you,
Right
somebody
here,
he's
and you
never
were with.
met. Yeah, somebody he's never met. So he's just like there, right? And then he's like, like we're having this conversation, and all of a sudden, this girl is like, "You have really nice lips. Can I kiss you?" And I just like, nah. Like, I think I even laughed because I was like, hee hee, like, how embarrassing. And he like looked at me, and then he's like, okay. And these crazy kids, they're just like making out in front of me, and I'm just like, okay, all right. So anyway, that
Dude, that is so funny, dude. That is also a core memory for me. That's just
yeah,
so
somebody,
freaking
and you
funny.
know what? At some point, I know that guy is going to watch this podcast and be like,
And be like, that was
"That was
me.
me." But with that being said, I think we've shared a little too much about who we are. But this is Hither
Hither and
and Tither,
Thither.
and we are so excited to share these moments with you. So if you have anything to share with us, if you have any recommendations on what you would like to talk about, or if you just want to say hi,
Yeah,
drop those comments, and we look forward to talking to you.
yeah.
So we will see you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Adios.
Bye.